folks. Welcome to the Cassandra Terry Morning Show. Cassandra Terry, the mindset coach and founder of Manifesting Miracle Makers, rounded up her LinkedIn family once again. First, we've got Brian Smart, Mr. Content and Dadpreneur. He's striking the perfect balance between raising his youngest daughter and creating masterful content. Next, meet Denise Annalise Spiller, the gig expert and relentless traveler and writer. She turns every gig into an adventure. Then there's Jay Pasquale, the storytelling strategist, a poet and voiceover artist. He's weaving tales that'll make you think, laugh, and maybe even change your perspective. Get ready for a show filled with wisdom, inspiration, and the magic of family. Let's welcome Cassandra Terry and the rest of the fam.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the Thursday edition of the Cassandra Terry Morning Show. It is Thankful Thursday. One of my favorite days of the week because today we focus on gratitude. What are we grateful for? What's going well in our lives? Where does the abundance lie? We do the opposite of what we have a tendency to do. We're not concerned about the lack. We are not concerned about the things that we don't have. It is all about what we do have and how we can take that and continue to uplift ourselves, to encourage ourselves. We use gratitude to keep us moving forward and closer to the life that we really desire. What we focus on is what we attract. And so focus on gratitude, focus on the things that you have, and you will find more things to be grateful for. So that is the overall message for today. I've got my brother with me, Jay Pasquale, the storytelling strategist, and we are going to delve into gratitude. I think we'll have at least one other person join us, I think, before the session is up. But we're going to start with what we have and be grateful for that. So, Jay, I am grateful to have you with me. It's always good to see you. Those who can't see Jay, it's only a matter of time. I'm working to get the stream key so that I can add you all to the full broadcast and you're able to see everything. But hopefully, as we're going, you can at least hear him well. When he says something really poignant, sometimes I'll repeat it just to make sure that you guys are hearing him also. So welcome, everybody. Let's jump in and begin to talk about this thing called gratitude. Thankful Thursday has always been my favorite day of the week because it puts the responsibility and the capability of having the type of day, the type of week, the type of life that we want right back into our court because it tells us to focus on what really matters. I woke up this morning, I was just telling Jay, and the first thing I noticed was some of the aches and pains that I've been experiencing lately weren't there. I started getting up with my husband again and doing the early morning walks before I start my lives. And I really thought that I might be in a position to where I couldn't do that anymore because I just had so much neck and back and even hip pain and just going up and down my stairs and really basic things that were things that you don't even really think about. You just take them for granted because you do them, were really starting to cause me some struggles. And in my mind, which is where everything begins, I was starting to wonder if arthritis was starting to set in. My mom has it, my grandmother had it. And I was thinking to myself, oh no, it may be happening. And this may be something that I have to live with starting now. I'll be 56 in April. So not that early for it. And, really. So I finally got up and said, if I just walk a little bit, stretch a little bit, maybe it'll calm it down. But in my mind, I was thinking he's going to have to walk slower. He's been doing it for a while, so he's got his routine, and I'm going to drag his routine down. He's thinking if I can get her up and get her moving, she's going to feel better. And, the snowball will start to build and roll in the right direction. And he was absolutely right. So I started walking again just this week. And I woke up this morning and I felt nothing. Nothing. And sometimes nothing is just the most wonderful thing, because I would usually wake up in the morning and I would have to be very careful about my first moves because my neck was really, really tight. And so I'd make sure that I didn't move it too fast because it was painful. And no neck pain, no shoulder pain, no hip pain, no back pain. I didn't feel anything. So it caused me, in realizing that, to relax so much that I just went into a deeper sleep. And the whole time I was being grateful. I was sharing gratitude. Thank you so much for no neck pain, no back pain, no shoulder pain, no hip pain. And so I immediately started my day with gratitude. So you can only imagine how good I feel right now. Not only do I physically feel good, but emotionally, spiritually, I feel great as well. My mindset is in a really good place. And even when I was having that back pain and stuff every day, I was still, when I wake up, the first thing I do, and it's a habit now, which is why it's so important for us to continue to do things consistently, because then it just becomes a part of your default. It's not something that you're trying on to see if it fits, not a quick fix. But I wake up every day, and without me trying now, the first thing that comes to mind is gratitude. It's what I'm grateful for, because I've been doing it for quite some time. I'll wake up, and I used to put a number on it. I would try to think of at least 3 things that I was grateful for in the morning. And then I would do the same thing at the end of my day. I called it my gratitude sandwich, where I was making sure I was getting my day started with the right mindset. And then I would try and end my day with the right mindset as well, so that I rested well and kept that cycle going. And then I can pull it out throughout the day when things start to really frustrate me. I've trained my brain to go, but what am I grateful for in this moment? Especially if I'm having a disagreement with somebody that's important to me. I start to ask myself, what am I grateful for with this person? And that way, it doesn't become about the fight. It doesn't become about winning. You put the relationship back in the center and make it what's more important. And then it kind of brings down all that angst and all that frustration, and it makes you show up a little bit differently. Even the other person may be completely out of pocket, but I don't match energy. I am not one of those people. I know that's a popular thing to say, but I am not an energy matcher. I try my best to be the one to set the energy, right? And so that way I'm always operating at a level that I can be proud of, that I was like, okay, may not have gone exactly the way I wanted, but I did my best in this moment. I poured something good into this situation instead of escalating something that's going off the rails. And gratitude is what helps me do that more than anything. If I'm trying to argue with you, if we're in a disagreement, and then my brain starts to think, but I sure am grateful for having this person in my life, then all of a sudden winning the fight is just not as important. It's managing it in a way so that the relationship is still intact after you get through the disagreement. You speak differently, you answer the questions differently, you approach the individual differently, and the relationship can actually grow instead of being hindered in those difficult moments. And that was hard for me to learn. I'm a Taurus. I'm a little bullheaded. I can be a little stubborn. I can be a little self-righteous, and I'm trying to get my point across. And really, it's not about any of that. It's about reaching understanding and still having that relationship intact on the other side. And gratitude, more than anything, has helped me with all of that. And so when I think about gratitude, I just realize how powerful it is, and it can be transformative. And it's not just merely saying thank you, right? It's so much more than that. It helps to frame our mindset. Gratitude is a way of life, and it's a valuable tool that you can use in your personal development journey. And I've created a few. Let me get back to, so I can share with you guys the notes I wrote up last night for you. So starting with mindset is what I was just talking about. Gratitude shifts your mindset, right? Have you ever noticed how, if you really think about what I was talking about, gratitude, you can think about it like a pair of glasses. that it's making you see clearer. It's shifting your view. It's bringing what's important into focus. So if Jay and I are at odds, but he's somebody that is really valuable to me, someone that I really care about, I need to focus my lens, these glasses, on Jay and on our relationship, right? Not on, I'm going to tell him, I'm going to let him know how I feel about this. I'm going to tell him, I'm going to let him know how I feel, but I'm going to do it in a more loving and compassionate way because one, I'm a grown up and I should be able, I'm a Christian, right? I'm a woman of God. I'm a woman, period. And so I should be able to communicate. I should be able to articulate when something isn't working well for me without defacing, and destroying the person on the other end of that conversation and ultimately destroying the relationship. So allow gratitude to be the glasses that you put on to adjust your view, to adjust your vision, to bring what's important into view. And that's going to help you. You're going to be more focused on what matters, more focused on what you have, more focused on abundance, and you're going to keep bringing more and more of that into your life. Gratitude is also a way of life. It's not a one and done type situation. Jay, look, I told you back in 69 that I was grateful for having you as a friend. Do I have to tell you every day? Maybe not. But I may not say the words every day, but in how I treat him, I show him that I'm grateful for him every day, right? And when I mess up and I'm less than gracious and I have less than a gratitude in my heart because I'm a woman, because I'm an adult, because I am a child of God, I should be able to see that and lovingly come to my friend and apologize, right? It really softens your heart, straightens up your point of view, and it becomes the part of the way that you show up. And that's what we want. We don't want a one and done, a quick fix, but a lifestyle shift so that that's a part of your core. It's a part of your value system. It's a part of how you show up, and it will make a difference in how you show up and how you manage your relationships. Gratitude is also a tool for resilience. So if you think about having gratitude in your toolkit, when things are difficult, think about it as a flashlight, and it helps you to look for the gift in the difficult times. I can see the difficulty. I can see the frown on Jay's face. I can feel the struggle between us because we've had this big blow up, but I can pull out that flashlight and I can look and I can remember the many times that he and I have sit here on this stage and we've had wonderful conversations together. I can remember all the times that we spent building and preparing for this. I can remember seeing pictures of him, not pictures, but actual, his camera on and seeing his wife and seeing his grandkids. And, my view is changing. I'm seeing my life has been enriched, right? And so now, because I'm realizing that just having this person in my life has enriched it, I can see the gift. And maybe the struggle that we have is because there's something that I need to learn. Maybe there's a way that I need to do things differently. Maybe he's giving me some hard truth that I don't want to hear. And so it's an opportunity for evolution, transformation, for me to grow. And growing is painful. And I'm feeling that pain. So I'm lashing out at my friend instead of taking in what he's trying to share to make me better. But when you reach into that toolkit and you pull out that flashlight of resilience, you can start to slow down and look for the gift in whatever situation that you're in, instead of just reacting to the emotions that you're feeling in that moment. Gratitude helps us to be responsive instead of being reactive. When we respond, we turn the brain on, we turn the heart on, and we think and we feel our way through the right way to manage a situation, at least the best way that we can in that moment. When we react, the brain is gone, the heart's cold, and we're just lashing out and reacting to whatever's happening. We are no longer in control. Our external circumstances are controlling us, and we're just being drugged around by our emotions. It only takes a moment. It only takes a moment and the opportunity to begin to think. That's why we talk about the power of the pause, pausing for just a moment to collect yourself and turn the rest of you up so that you're not completely controlled by your emotions in those difficult moments. And you can find the gift in whatever it is that's going on and manage it all so much better. Gratitude is also a mindfulness booster. We realize when we're coming from a place of gratitude that we really have everything that we need. Maybe we want more of it, but it's in us. It is in us to create the life that we desire. When you're grateful, you're more present. You're noticing what's working around you. You're acknowledging the beauty around you, and you're taking it all in and enjoying that experience. So gratitude actually helps you to be more engaged and full of gratefulness for everything that's around you. So it can help you be more mindful. Mindfulness is all about being present. And when you're noticing and acknowledging the things that you're grateful for, you're being mindful by default. It's helping you to click in, to tap in, and to experience what's happening right here, right now, and find what you're grateful for in that moment. So I think there's a couple more things I want to share on gratitude. I love this one. It helps you to cultivate abundance. Appreciation creates an environment where positivity and abundance can flourish. If you could have everything at the tip of your fingers, but if you're not grateful for it, if you're not aware that it's there because you're on autopilot and you're so accustomed to having it, you won't enjoy it. You won't really appreciate it until it's gone. And we don't want that. We don't want to have to lose to gain. We can take a moment and appreciate what we have now. And in doing so, watch yourself lift up. Watch the weight of the world lift off your shoulders and you feel better, even when you're struggling with something. When you go into that gratitude mindset, you are attracting more and more and more of the things that you want instead of the things that you don't want into your life. And so that creates that environment where positivity and abundance can flourish. It's a connection enhancer. I like that one too, because I'm a people person. I love people. It deepens relationships by making us aware of the value others bring into our lives. So when I was using the examples with Jay, when I think about him that way, how can I not value him more and value our relationship more? When I'm pouring that positivity into him and acknowledging him and the value that he brings into my life, how could he not appreciate me more and appreciate the relationship? Like, oh, that's somebody who really gets me. I am not wasting my time. There's some reciprocity there. There's some give and take. And she sees me. She sees the value that I'm bringing into this situation. That enhances relationships. People love to be appreciated. They love to know that they're not working in vain. And he's not one of those people that's going to go around all the time wondering if I'm thankful. He's not going to ask me for anything. But just by the nature of being a human being, your relationships are enhanced when you give and the person who receives is feeling more connected to you as well. So gratitude does a lot of good things for us. It's also an empowerment tool. So it's just not about feeling thankful. It's about recognizing all the things that you have to be thankful for. When you look at yourself and you think about your strength, your ability to be resilient, there's so many possibilities that can unfold for you because you have a grateful heart and because you're operating in that realm. So don't take gratitude for granted, people. It is a tool. It is a resource. It is a way of life. It is so much more than just saying saying thank you. And you will be grateful for the fact that you have a grateful heart because you're going to see more and more and more things that you're grateful for and that you should be grateful for showing up in your life. So we've had quite a few comments that have come in. So let me acknowledge those, Jay, and then I am going to pitch it over to you. And I'd love to hear what you want to bring for in terms of gratitude. I got distracted for a moment because Meg is telling me it's her birthday. Happy birthday, Meg. Thank you for being here and sharing a little bit of your birthday with us. Um, Della says, look at the face, beautiful, standing on business queen. Oh, wow, Della. Is it Della or Delilah? Delilah. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. You're welcome, Meg. And I hope your birthday is blessed and that you are having a day where you see all the things. I know you're appreciative of 31 years on this planet. And I pray that you have many, many more and that each one is more blessed than the one before. Let's see. Sonia, welcome, welcome, welcome. She says, good morning to everyone. Sharon, always good to see you. She says she's going to start walking again. It works. It's also a stress reliever. Yes, yes, yes. It is such a stress reliever. Cynthia Brewer, good morning. There's my mommy, Joanne Ellis. Hey, good morning, fam. Paulette is with us from Vegas and California, saying good morning. Great, Cassandra. I like the positivity. Good morning, all. Sharon said yes. Joanne said that's good. Cassandra K. Terry. Only your mama gonna call you by your government name first thing in the morning. That's me, y'all. Good old country name. Good old country girl, Cassandra K. Terry. Hello, mother. She says Jay is keeping his hands over his mouth. LOL. I think he's gonna spring a leak. She said she can tell, Jay. She said she can tell by the look on your face when you just ready to jump in there. And I don't know why he's so polite, right? If you got something to say, you can unmute and jump in at any time because, like I said before, you bring nothing but value. So yes, I always have a little bit of quote or an acrostic or something to get the day started, to get the conversation flowing. But you don't have to wait for me to take a breath. I may never take a pause. So just jump on in there whenever you feel led to do so. Pauline George says, grateful for this platform. Grateful for you being here and for you saying that. It's really uplifting and we appreciate it. She says, I looked outside and saw the trees starting to sprout anew, which indicates a new season. God is awesome. Saying hi from London, UK. Hello, Pauline. So we got somebody else from across the pond. Welcome. I'm not sure if you've been with us much before, but we see you because of your comments, and we are so glad to have you with us. And yes, spring is springing. It's coming. The new season of renewal and new life is right around the corner, and that is something to be grateful for. When you see those blooms, take a moment and literally smell the roses. Take a moment to see the beauty of that nature gives us every single day and allow that to feed your soul as well and help you to be grateful. Good morning, Florida Real Estate. Thank you for joining us, Wayne Lee, CAD. Welcome, welcome, welcome. You guys come on in. I was just sharing my point of view on gratitude and how it is so much more than saying thank you. And I think I've greeted everyone so far. So Jay, I am. My mom says Jay is a gentleman. That's why you wait for me to finally inhale or take a pause. So over to you, Jay. Please share with us your thoughts on gratitude.
Yeah, absolutely. I will. I just still have to recognize Mama J in this moment. She was absolutely right. I was about ready to jump on my chair. Everything you were saying just resonates with me this morning. And we had a little bit of a discussion before we got on air. But what I wanted to say is, and I've said it a couple of times before, don't raise your let me see, what am I saying? Don't raise the level of your voice. Raise the level of your communication.
Yes.
But I also now want to add, and along with it, raise the level of your gratitude.
Yes.
And I think those two things are going to help you in those moments when you are facing someone that you have a relationship with, a partnership with,
Mhm.
and things aren't going so well. And that gratitude, right, that comes in. Let me just say, I'm going to have some gratitude in this moment because, oh my gosh, this person is on it today. And you just have to sit back and relax and just kind of look at things in that perspective. Because, all right, so you have a spouse who, doesn't do the things that, okay, they didn't put the trash out today, and now the trash man gonna come. Oh my gosh. How many times I walk into this bathroom and this toilet seat is up? What's wrong with you? I'm gonna fall in one day. Right?
Mhm.
Those kinds of things you get, it gets on your nerves. But then think about the times, man, he was there to help me with the baby and put the baby to sleep. Man, he was there when, my mama said, what's up with the trash, and he took up for it. All those things you got to take a look at, those little minor things,
Yes.
because it all adds up to one major thing, and that major thing is the importance of that relationship and that partnership that you're talking about. So don't raise your level of your voice, raise the level of your communication skills, and raise the level of your gratitude, and it will change the trajectory of your relationship.
You done took me to
So,
church, Jay. I
man,
gotta stop you and just tell you how much I love that. Do not raise your voice. Raise the level of your communication. And because we're talking about gratitude today, raise that as well. So instead of raising your voice, raise your ability to communicate, raise your ability to articulate, raise your ability to get your point across in a way that's enriching, not tearing up your relationships. That's what he just said. And it took me about 100 words, and he said it in about 8. So powerful. Raise the level of your communication instead of raising your voice. That's that maturity that I'm talking about. That's being an adult, being Christian, being a woman, being a man, being whatever it is that you are. If you've got to yell, if you have to intimidate, if you have to threaten, if you have to curse out, if you have to do all of those things in order to be heard, you have not nurtured and developed that relationship that you're in, right? So raise your ability to communicate. Okay, Jay. See, I'm not a gentleman. I just jump in and tell. That's why I'm
no,
that
I
was
get
so
it.
good.
Absolutely. So I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna take it a little step further and say it
Mhm.
like this. There was a study I read somewhere, and it was about communication and about why people yell and scream. And what's happening is it's the automatic response or reaction. It's not a response, an automatic reaction in the mind connected to the heart, where it says, "You're not hearing me. I feel like you're distant. And because you're distant, I'm going to raise my voice."
Mm.
And so when you understand that there's a distance between the two of you, right? What do you need to do? Do you need to yell? Do you need to scream? Do you need to cuss for them to hear you? Or do you lean in
Lean in.
and
Mm.
maybe say it a little clearer? Maybe not yell, maybe not scream. Because even in that chasm of distance that you think you in, they're not going to hear it.
Mm-mm.
They're not.
You're
You've got to
probably expanding the distance. They're getting farther away, at least emotionally.
emotion. Absolutely. So think about it in those perspectives, and it'll help you in that relationship that you're trying to cultivate, like Cassandra tells us. So I and now I'm also saying Not only do we need to raise our level of communication, we need to raise our level of gratitude. Understand that there's a blessing in that relationship. That's what got you together in the first place. There was an alignment that happened. There was something that brought you together in the first place. There's where you should start with the gratitude. And so today, when we're talking about Thankful Thursday, I'm going to go to Psalms, and there's a whole bunch of things in there about gratitude. So I'm going to start with Psalm chapter 75, verse 1.
Okay.
We give thanks to you, O God. We give thanks, for your name is near. We recount your wondrous deeds. It's telling us not to forget. The Bible is really saying in this verse right here, remember your blessings, because you got them. You've got your blessings. But it's challenging in this day and age for a bunch of reasons. And I'm gonna go through those reasons. Let's talk about it.
All right, let's do it.
Yeah, number one, distractions. Distractions. Put that phone down. We're at the table.
Okay.
Put that game controller down. Let's have a conversation. We are distracted by technology, busy schedules, right? People often overlook the blessings around them because they are preoccupied with stupid stuff. Worldly concerns. I call it stupid stuff. But worldly concerns, right? The stuff that just, that fills your life with nothingness. Okay, so you got to that next level, in that game that you just purchased for $100 and some. Yay. Okay, good on you. But it's that, and I make fun of it because it's the next thing that distracts us, and that's materialism, right? The emphasis on material wealth and possessions can blind people from the spiritual blessings in their lives.
Right.
And, we all know it's a consumer world, right? And so people may kind of equate blessings to solely right on that material gain, overlooking all the intangible stuff, the gifts, the real gifts of love, health, the relationships we were just talking about.
Life itself.
Exactly. And so there's also in this society this notion of self-sufficiency as the thing, right? I can do this on my own. I got this, an army of one, right? So modern society is promoting like self-sufficiency and independence. It's great, but it's leading people to believe that they can achieve success solely through their efforts and nothing else, nobody else, not a team, not somebody or some being who brought you into this world. None of that, right? And so the mindset can make it hard for people to acknowledge blessings as gifts from God, and instead their own abilities and hard work. I did all this myself. I don't have a team. I don't have a God. Nobody helped me. I did it all on my own.
Pull myself up by my bootstraps.
I got this. Right? But really, there are people who've helped you. Your mom, your dad, even if they didn't teach you the right way, they did teach you, because then you've learned, okay, maybe I shouldn't have done what dad did, right? maybe I need to learn some things from what I shouldn't be doing from the things that have come into my life.
Yeah.
Right. But that's still not self-sufficiency. You're still learning and gaining from other people. So it's not all you. And since we're talking about gratitude, it's the lack of gratitude, really, in this fast-paced world. People are focused on that instant gratification. Brian talks about it all the time. We're really in a crock-pot world, but we're trying to make it that microwave world.
Mm-hmm. We want it now. We want it quick, instant.
Instant. Man, have you ever ate a roast from a microwave?
No.
You don't want to.
Sounds like rubber.
It ain't the same. I'm telling you, it ain't the same. That down home cooking ain't gonna happen in a microwave. Mm-hmm. Seriously. How many things that you like to eat are done on a stove? Mm-hmm. How many things do you like to eat that's done in a love to eat that's done in a microwave? Think about it.
After we get past popcorn, that's about it.
I can't think of anything else. Really, I can't remember anything else out of that. And lastly, I think the really important part is that spiritual disconnection. Remember, we're talking about self-sufficiency at the beginning.
Exactly.
That spiritual disconnection, right? We're talking about that removal from God, mm-hmm. and really diving deep in that. I'm gonna use that old churchy word, secular society. Spiritual values may be like set on the wayside and forgotten altogether, right? Because we're diving deep into that secular world, mm-hmm. and that disconnection without a strong spiritual foundation. People may struggle to recognize the blessings as divine intervention or acts of grace. Okay, I did it all on me. It's all me. I did this. This is me. And not recognizing that there's a higher power behind all of it. So the verse really reminds us to, we'll use your word, cultivate mm-hmm. an attitude of gratitude.
An attitude of gratitude.
An attitude of gratitude. And to actively, think about all the wondrous deeds and blessings that God has given us and has shown us in our lives. Even in the midst of struggle, triumphs, all the other stuff, the negative, the positive, especially the negative. Surviving tornadoes is not my thing, but I did it once maybe and possibly another time, but there it is. And if we just look at the Bible at people and as historical figures, let's set aside the blessings from above, but look at the historical figures as mm-hmm. history. Man, Job, if you just look at his story based on what the Bible said, how did that dude do it? How could he find gratitude in the loss of life, in the loss of his wealth? All of it. He lost it. Where was he going to find that gratitude? But he found it. And he was blessed tenfold following it. And this is what we need to understand. So I know that was a long one, but man, you got me going. I have to go deep.
I just love how my mom reads your face. She said, wow, Joey, that is awesome. You're making it plain now. Go ahead. She had lots of words for you. Yes, bring that scripture, Jay. Everything we need to know and do is in the word. Speak, Jay. Every good gift and every perfect gift is from above. Ditto, ditto, ditto. We agree with you, mother. She says, I am so grateful for my own daughter infusing the universe with positivity. This is so needed in the world in which we love. Thank you, Mom. I appreciate that. Sharon said, yes. No, she said, right and right. Paulette said, be respectful. Being respectful is so important. And she said, yes, please value me. Yes, Jay. So your words were definitely resonating with some of the audience today, as always. And so we are grateful, grateful, grateful. But I really love that. And if you all walk away with nothing else, just remember when Jay said, don't raise your voice, raise your level of communication. If you figure out, don't beat yourself up either. If you realize that you don't have the communication skills that you need to articulate what your desires are, sometimes as people, we go from one extreme to the other. I was a profound people pleaser for a lot of my life. So it was just yes, 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 forgetting what I needed to make sure I was taking care of everybody else. And as time was going by, I was getting more and more resentful. I finally went to therapy to deal with this people pleasing aspect of my personality, because what had happened is I had gone from the easy automatic yes to an almost guaranteed no. I was so frustrated. I was so tired of people pulling on me that I just didn't want to be bothered. And so even if it was something that was probably a good idea, even if it was something that was an opportunity for me to help somebody, I had gotten to the instant no because I was tired. I was exhausted and I was feeling taken advantage of just in general. And so I had gone all the way to the other extreme. There's no peace in either place. If you're extreme left or extreme right, you're not peaceful because you're at odds all the time. But getting recentered and getting to a place to where I allowed my emotions to calm down and my brain to click back on, and I allowed myself to be honest with me about each individual situation, assessing that situation, looking at the relationship I have with the individual on the other end of the ask, and making a good decision instead of out of obligation always being pulled along. So I can say no to people that I used to not be able to say no to. They knew I couldn't say no either. But am I saying no? I think their decision-making skills have improved. I think they think a little bit more about what they're doing with their own because they don't have an automatic access to mine. And we're supposed to teach a man to fish. And I was really bad at that. I would just swoop in with my cape on in my mind, some kind of self-proclaimed superhero, and fix whatever somebody was going through, and then swoop back out, feeling good about myself, feeling it was me. It was all me. I saved the day. Horrible way to live, horrible way to process and think. And you put so much responsibility on yourself. So not only am I bogged down by what I'm feeling about my relationships and about my life, but I'm carrying everybody else's stuff too. They dump it and they're probably done with it because they've dumped it. They've cleaned their bucket. And I'm walking around with all my stuff and all your stuff and just having a hard time just being. It was hard to be grateful for anything because I just felt so underwater all the time. But when I did realize I'm not a person of one, I'm not a superhero, I can't save anybody or save the day. I can contribute, but I can now step back and think about the right way to contribute. Sometimes not saving somebody is more impactful than saving them. So I have to check my heart. Am I saying no because I'm angry? Am I saying no or am I saying no because you have done this 15 times and I've saved you every time. So now your default is it doesn't matter how I manage my stuff. She'll take care of it. So I can be more frivolous. I can be more, I can put things, I don't have to think. I can just do. I can enjoy my life, and then I'm going to come and make her take care of my responsibility. I set those relationships in motion for a long time. But when I stepped back and started to look at them in their entirety and push the emotions down, push the obligations down, and really think about what's happening here, it allowed me to manage them better. And it wasn't coming from a place of anger or frustration or anything negative. It was really looking at the situation. What's needed in this moment? Do I need to step back and actually allow this person to suffer a little bit so that they make better choices for themselves going forward? And when I gave myself the permission to process and to make better decisions, then the angst and the frustration and the anger went away, because I have the ability to say yes and I have the ability to say no. And whatever it is that I choose to say, I have to own that, because that was my decision. I'm not allowing people to back me into corners with all of their drama, trauma, bad decision making, and now they're in their backs against the wall, and now they're calling. You may not get a yes. Yes, you're in a hard situation. Yes, you're struggling. Yes, your back is against the wall. But what are all the decisions that you made leading up to this point? You never have to think about that if you've got that safety net. So I had to take my safety net. I had to take it away. And now I evaluate each individual situation and I make a good decision. I make a prudent decision, because I'm responsible for me and how I show up. Am I a cheerful giver? If I'm not a cheerful giver, I need to check in. What's going on? Why am I feeling frustrated? It should feel good to give. If it doesn't, what's happening? Am I in a bad relationship? Am I feeling taken advantage of? Maybe I've just gotten miserly in my old age. You have to take a look at what's causing those negative emotions. Whenever you feel them, check in with them and give them space, and actually allow yourself to feel them and work through them so that you know what's underneath. Because once you figure out what's underneath those bad feelings, now you know where the issue is, where the real pain point is. That's where the healing needs to take place. Is there work that needs to be done in that relationship? Do you need to have a hard conversation with somebody? Maybe something happened in the past that you haven't let go of, so you're still holding on to some old negativity that you need to let go of. You can't fix what you don't realize. You can take medicine all day long, but if it doesn't have the ingredients for the ailment that you actually have, it's not going to do you any good. It actually can harm you. So what's ailing you? Where's the pain? Where is it coming from? What's underneath it? It's one thing to know that I have a bruise, but it's another thing to know where the bruise came from. Did I get up in the middle of the night and I bumped into something? The bruise is expected. It's just a part of the healing process. I know how to take care of that, and then I'll move forward. It'll get better in time. But something could be going on internal that's showing up as those bruises, and I can't self-diagnose that. I've got to get some help. I've got to figure out what's going on in my body. Our emotions are no different. They show up in all sorts of ways, and most of the time we just bat them away. If we do want to learn to communicate better and raise our communication ability and our gratitude instead of raising our voice, that requires work. That requires honesty. That requires assessing what's going on with you and being willing to take care of yourself. It's like the ultimate form of self-care. Ultimate. So I encourage you, when those negative emotions come up, spend some time with them. Figure out what's going on so you know what to fix. Putting a cast on a broken arm ain't going to do anything. Putting a cast on an arm ain't going to do anything for a broken ankle. You have to know where the pain point is so that you solve the right problem. And your emotions are like headlights. They are screaming at you that something is wrong. And it's your job to figure out what that is. And when you figure out what that is, you know exactly what medicine to take. And your communication, your gratitude, your enjoyment of life, everything will elevate in you doing that work. The inner work is where it's at, guys. The more of that you do, the more honest you can get with yourself, the more you peel back the facade and you just really look at what's going on there. We don't like ourselves without the makeup on sometimes. We don't like ourselves when the hair is all over our head. But you got to fall in love with that person. With that person at the core of who you are, without all the frills and thrills. Who are you if you strip away your degrees, your titles, your things, your makeup, whatever it is? Take all that stuff away and find the core of who you are and fall in love with that person. And in doing so, you will give that person what it needs, what he or she needs to actually enjoy this life. It's not going to be a shopping. It's not going to be your house. It's not going to be your car. It's not going to be all these external things that we gravitate to, trying to make ourselves feel better, look better, show up better. You can have all of that stuff and be absolutely miserable. We see it all the time. We see some of the folks that we swear we know them because they've been on our TV and stuff for so long and have entertained, and they take their own lives miserable with all these trappings. Don't allow your stuff to be a trap. And it can be if you're living for that stuff. You've got to live for what's going on inside. You've got to tap in and get to know who you really are. And in doing so, you open up for the opportunity for you to gain so much more enjoyment in life, to have a much richer existence. It's hard walking around with all that pressure and trying to keep all that stuff going, all those, as Brian says, all those plates spinning at once. Where are you focused? What's important to you? What are your values? When you can tap in and know yourself at that level, you make much better decisions. You can stand on your yeses and you can be okay with your no's. No's are hard for most people. But when you are on a mission and you know where it is that you're going, all the distractions that Jay was just talking about slows you down, gets you off course. You have to be clear about where you're going. And in that clarity, you have to let some stuff go too. You have to let some stuff go. You have to be able to do things differently. I see Joyce Brown says facts. And I think that's Irene is waving. Hi, hello, Arena. Oh, I can't say your name. I'm sorry. But welcome, welcome, welcome. We've got some folks here. Joanne said, putting all that pressure on yourself. Remember, pressure bursts pipes. I didn't put it all on myself. It was two people that tangoed with me every time. So folks brought pressure as well. Where I messed up was picking it up. Just because somebody brought the pressure to me didn't mean I should have taken it on. So that was where my responsibility was in these relationships, is not picking it up in the first place. But my hopes was always they wouldn't bring it if they didn't really need it. They wouldn't bring it if it wasn't really a dire situation. I wasn't thinking about how they got there in the first place, and that they were consistently bringing it, and it became a habit. And I became a part of your lifestyle instead of, you making good decisions and knowing that you had responsibilities coming. It happened a lot in many different ways. Sometimes people think, oh, it's just a little bit. It's not that big of a deal when I'm calling for it, not realizing that 8 other people done called before you. So all them little bits start to add up. It was crazy. And I literally had to, it wasn't about the other person though. It was about me and how I was managing my relationships. And I did what I needed to do to get myself in a better place. And it's still hard. My natural draw is to help and is to be supportive. So I had to reframe what help meant. Help didn't always mean solving somebody's problem, because in doing that, I was prolonging their bad situation, because I wasn't teaching them to fish. I was throwing them a sandwich and say, see you next time. They'll be back. They'll be back, because I created those dependencies, and breaking them is very, very difficult. And to do it without breaking relationships is even harder. So be clear about who you are, who you want to be, where you're trying to go, and how you show up in relationships. When you see a pattern in your relationships, the common denominator is you. So it is in your best interest to look inward and say, what do I need to do differently to make this situation better? You can't depend on the other person. You can only control you. So look inward. What do I need to do differently? And then when you figure that out, watch your life get better. We focus so much on the other people that we forget that the only one that we can really control is ourselves. Go inward. Go inward. Paulette says, thank you, Cassandra. Well said. Michelle Mason, hello, hello, hello. Welcome. That my mom's clapping her hands. Jay is trying to, she said Jay is trying to hold it in again. Oh, and she said Jay's about to pop, and that was just a statement. She wasn't saying that that's what I did. But I love responding to the statements, because if people, it helps to clarify. So I'm glad you put it out there, because it keeps the conversation going, and that's really, really what this is about, is conversation. Michelle said, controlling me can be difficult. Absolutely. And the other thing that I try to remember to say, I don't always say it, but what you guys are witnessing when you come in is somebody who's working through her own stuff. I don't have all the answers, but I was blessed with a gift of transparency where I don't have a lot of shame associated with where I fell and bumped my head. And so I can talk about falling and bumping my head. I can talk about the mistakes that I've made. And it's all in hopes of it resonating with somebody. And maybe that'll circumvent or shorten your season in that same space. So I don't show up thinking I know it all, that I've got all the answers. I'm just sharing my experiences and hoping that something that I share resonates and makes your life a little bit better. And Michelle said, hey, outstanding platform. Thank you so much. And I am glad that you are here. Jay, my mom says you're about to bust, and she's been right. So something on your mind you want to share?
Yeah, so when we think about all the things that are in front of us, we look at it, a lot of what we have, right, is sentimental, right? And there's that sentimental connection to those material things. And what happens, though, when those things are lost, when those things are shattered or broken, right? What do you rely on? The feeling that it had, or do you latch onto those little pieces and try to put it all together, even though you can't?
Mm-hmm.
And so the reason I'm bringing that is when you said something that it just triggered me. It's like, we look at everything in front of us, but we don't see it for what it is. These are just mementos of our past and of our experiences. And we put our gratitude on the material thing and not the thing that made us feel that way in the first place. That emotion that really is tied to that thing. That's not what we should be focusing on. The focus is on gratitude towards the feeling that it gives you, that makes you move positively in the right direction, not on the things that are going to keep you stuck. Because ultimately, it's going to stay in that china cabinet. You can't take it with you. So when you were talking, I was just thinking to myself that, about focus. And tomorrow's Focus Friday. We won't go into it further.
Right.
But the gratitude part comes from the feeling that's tied to that specific material thing, not the actual action that occurred, the love, the care, the things that really you should be focusing on, like at Christmas time, right? The gratitude that you should have at that moment for getting that gift, the thought that came into it. Man, I really needed this. Right? That kind of stuff. So I just wanted to say that and thank you for triggering it in my mind. So
Absolutely, absolutely. My mom said, "Good job, daughter," and she said, "That's good, Jay." So, Brian, we are glad to see that you are with us. And Jay and I have talked quite a bit about gratitude from all different angles. And so, if you're able to unmic and share your thoughts with us, we'd love to hear them.
Yeah, I'm loving this conversation. I'm just glad I was able to find my phone. I dropped it on the way to school this morning, in between the car seat, and
Oh, the abyss. It went
yeah,
into the abyss.
went into the abyss. I had to pull over at the car wash after I dropped Bree off to almost dismantle the truck to find the phone. But anyway, I'm glad I found it. I'm thankful for
We
that.
are grateful. We are grateful that you found it and that you got some time to spend with us.
Awesome. Awesome. I'm glad to be here. We talking about gratitude. Let's talk about being thankful for what's left. Right? People are always saying, "Well, thank you for the blessings, thank you for this, thank you for that." But like Jay was saying, a lot of the times we're not thankful to our creator for what's left after the storm.
Mm.
Right? Just be thankful for what's left. I find myself so many times, you know, being humble enough to say, regardless of whatever you do, regardless of whatever's here, I'm just glad to be here. I'm just glad that I have what I have. I'm glad I'm able to say thank you. Right?
Sound like not
That
my will, but I will.
oh, you know what I mean? When you think about it from that perspective, everything changes, right? Everything becomes a blessing. The storm becomes a blessing, right? We always talk about, we have to be thankful in spite of the storm. You should be thankful because of the storm. The
Hmm.
storm is where your creator, God, omnipotence, the all powerful one, gets to show up and show you what he's made of. Without that, there's no way you can know that. There's no way you would think you were doing it. If every day was a great day, you think you caused that day to happen. You would think you had something to do with that. When those storms come about and there's no way I could have made it out of this. How did I make it out of this? Who do you look to? You look to that higher power and you're
Mm-hmm.
thankful for where you are and what you have. That's why, we shouldn't focus on bad times as bad times. Bad times, good times, it's just part of life. It's just time, right? Time, omnipotence, they're not understanding of these worldly attachments, these worldly titles that we put on things, right? Life is about being thankful for where you are and what you have. You don't know what saved you from what you lost, right? You don't know how you got saved from that thing that you lost. You don't know what kind of impact it made to the betterment of your life, right? Trust not on your own understanding.
Hmm.
You have to, yeah, you got to put your faith in something higher. And when you do that, then nothing is ever lost. You know, it's all for you. You know, it's all the time. And you know, it's all good. And that's why you have something. That's why you really always have something to be thankful for.
So without your phone, it sounds like you were beamed in and listening to what Jay and I talked about because you came right, didn't he? Didn't that alignment? That alignment is undeniable. My mom said, "Come on now, Brian, you better say it, glory." And Paulette said, "God is teaching us something," and it's been a consistent theme throughout the whole conversation. And you coming in midstream and having the same thoughts, using some of the same words, painting the same pictures, is just says that my prayer was answered. Before Jay and I started, we prayed, and part of that prayer was to be a vessel, to open ourselves up so that what was meant to be said flowed through us, and that it wasn't just about us saying what we think and what we know and da 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 da. It's so much bigger than that. In the grand scheme of things, what I know will fit on the tip of a needle. You know, in the grand scheme of all the things that there is to know, Each of us individually knows so little. But when you open yourself up and you remove yourself out of the situation and you allow what's meant to be to flow through you, that's when the real gems drop. That's when people's lives are impacted. That's where the magic is. It's not about us. And I'm so grateful to know that pressure that my mom was talking about, when I realized that it wasn't about me, that I couldn't do the things that I already thought that I was doing, that's when that pressure started to float away and I could enjoy my life. I could enjoy the things that I had been blessed with at such a deeper level, such a deeper level. And I could see the blessings. I no longer saw my blessings as a double-edged sword. Because it's something I was grateful to have some things. And then at the same time, I was frustrated to have them because it just felt like it was causing so much stress in relationships. It's not your blessings are not a double-edged sword. They are blessings on blessings on blessings. And you just have to see them. Put the glasses of gratitude on. Allow your focus to shift to the things that you have and be grateful for those. Show up in abundance. When we hold on so tight to everything because we're looking at life from a position of lack, that's one of the things I can say about my mama. She lives at an abundant mind, from an abundant mindset. She is forever giving. Doesn't necessarily know exactly where everything is going to come from all the time, but she gives all the time, and she gives from a good place. She gives from her heart. She loves, and I'm sure that's where I got it from, right? But when my giving no longer felt good, that's when I knew I needed to do something was going on different. It was counterintuitive to just how I'm put together. Why am I so frustrated? Don't be afraid to ask yourself those questions and do that work, because in doing so, you will get to know yourself on a deeper level. You'll manage your life better. You will be responsive and not reactionary, and you will enjoy the beauty of this thing called life. And that's what my hope and my prayer is for each and every one of you, that you're living your life in abundance and that you are grateful for what you have and that you continue to have more to be grateful for. Right. All right. So we had, let's see. Oh, my mom said that's how God shows us that he's in it. You should surrender yourself and let God speak. We are all vessels to be used by him. And Michelle said gives with no expectations. Exactly. Gives with no expectation. That's pure giving. It's not a tit for tat. All right, Sharon says I have to leave, but everyone have an amazing day and apply these truths today. Be grateful. Grateful that you were able to spend some time with us today, Sharon. Go and have a wonderful rest of your day. And guys, we are wrapping it up this Thankful Thursday. All three of us have had an opportunity to share. I think I've acknowledged all of your comments. So that in and of itself means it's a wrap. We have done what we came to do. We will be back here tomorrow, Friday. Yay, it's Friday at 7:15 a.m. Central. And like Jay alluded to earlier, we will focus on focus. Tomorrow's topic is focus. It's Focus Friday. And we hope to have each one of you guys join us tomorrow at 7:15 a.m. Central. And in the meantime, I know Brian's going to get me if I don't mention it. We have a challenge that we're starting up soon. It's iwantosoar.com, right, Brian?
That's it.
All right. You guys go to iwantosoar.com. We are creating a challenge. SOAR is the theme for 2024. SOAR is self-discovery of your strengths, overcoming obstacles, achieving your goals, and living and creating a resilient mindset. And that challenge is for 4 days, an hour a day, and each day is going to deal with one of the letters in SOAR to help you get some tools and techniques in each one of those spaces so that you can do all that you intended to do and then some in this new year. So join us on the SOAR challenge, iwantosoar.com. We'll get to meet each other more intimately, and we'll be in a space like a Zoom room, all coming together and working through what it means to soar and how you can go about ensuring that you soar in 2024. Joyce Brown 9713, you are very welcome. Thank you for your engagement today and for being with us. I see quite a few of you guys on TikTok followed me. As soon as I'm able to get back on, I will follow you all back so we can continue to grow this community and get to know one another better. I'm excited by that. Sonia said, whenever I spend time with the fam, I'm fed with so much positive feedback. Thank you. That's positive feedback for us, and we certainly appreciate it. So join us on iwanttosoar.com and take the assessment, and we will get you into the challenge, and we will see you back here tomorrow morning, 7:15 a.m. Central, for Focus Friday. And so that concludes it today, guys. This is the end of the.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of the Cassandra Terry Morning Show. We hope that you join us tomorrow for another episode.
I'm back
for
tomorrow.
Advertising or sponsorship questions, reach out to Cassandra or any one of the Fam 5 on their LinkedIn profiles. Have a great day, everyone.
Have a great day, everyone. Thank you so much.